In my last episode, I shared how I was silenced in my husband's house, told it was not my home and that I had no voice here. Soon after, my husband and I decided to leave. We rented a small apartment, just ours. For the first time, there was peace. No taunts, no commands, no eyes waiting to find faults. Just two people trying to build a life, a home, and memories of our own. We focused on our careers, on growth, and on simply breathing without the weight of constant judgment. But peace in our own four walls did not mean freedom from their reach. My mother in law would call often, not to ask how we were, but to push my husband into patching things up with her sister, the very person who had humiliated me. She would say, "This is your wife's fault. Families fight, but blood ties are everything." And sometimes even sharper words. If you keep siding with her, one day no one will stand with you. Her words stung, not just because of the blame, but because they reduced me to a wedge in their story. Never a person with feelings, never someone who also longed for acceptance. Then came the festival. My mother-in-law insisted, no, ordered that my husband and I go to his sister's home with sweets. I refused. How could I go? I wasn't invited. We had not spoken since the fight. My dignity, my self-respect, was I expected to just leave it at the doorstep? Tell her to put her self-respect aside. That's what she told my husband. That night, I cried endlessly. I felt small, ignored, erased. Yet the next day, I went. With swollen eyes and a hurting heart, I walked into his sister's home, hoping maybe this time they would see my effort. Maybe they would value the step I took toward them. But I was wrong. I was ignored. Again, my existence invisible. A while later, when my sister-in-law invited my husband to a wedding, he insisted I come with him. But when my mother-in-law found out, her question wasn't about the wedding. Her first question was, what would she wear? Not how will she feel, not will she be comfortable, just my clothes, my choices, my presence. She even suggested he go alone or take a friend instead of me. Can you imagine that? To be replaced in your own husband's life because your in-laws don't approve of the way you dress. It sounds small, maybe to some people. But when it comes from those who are supposed to be your family, it cuts deep. It destroys you in ways that words can't capture. The taunts never stopped. Accusations that I was irresponsible, that I had pulled their son away, that I was the root of every problem. We had moved out of that house, but their intentions, their remarks, their bitterness followed us like shadows. It broke me in ways I can't describe. Sometimes it even caused friction between me and my husband because love alone can't erase constant poison. Still, I kept up appearances, I maintained ties, I did what was expected. But acknowledgement, gratitude, acceptance, never, not once. Sometimes walking away from a toxic place does not mean you have escaped it. Sometimes the voices follow you into your calls, into your festivals, your silence. And the hardest part is not just surviving them, it's learning how to keep your own heart alive when theirs refuses to see you at all. And yet, here's what I have learned. Distance does not always guarantee peace, but boundaries do. Sometimes the bravest act of love is not staying silent, but standing up for your self respect. Because love without respect is just another form of control. This is not just my story, it's the story of countless women told to adjust, to compromise, to shrink themselves for the sake of family harmony. But let me say this clearly: you are not wrong for wanting respect. You are not selfish for protecting your peace, and you are not alone in this journey. Every time we share our truth, we create a ripple, a reminder that strength is not measured by how much we endure quietly, but by how fiercely we choose ourselves in the middle of the noise.